waiting for it to go. Okay, now we're live. Okay, it's
Cool.
the first episode of the Shui, episode 1 with P&J. My name is Pratik Trehan, and I'd like to introduce to you James Toll.
Hi, my name is James Toll, and I'd like to introduce to you Pratik.
Awesome. We're going to be doing a weekly podcast talking about business and stuff. The idea is to kind of get our feet wet talking about business. So,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, shooting the hay, talking about business, talking about stuff that we enjoy talking about, books and stuff to that effect.
Books. Okay.
There's business books out there. We've talked about tons of business books before. I forget what were we doing when we first talked about. We were going on the way to like was it South Carolina? We were going to like a Gamecocks and a UGA game.
UGA.
Yeah.
It's been like 5-6 years ago. Must have been almost.
Yeah, and we were just like, hey, there's these discounts on some tickets, and then we just totally like geeked out over like business books.
I know you're a big fan of the guy who wrote the 4-5-Hour Work Week and his book, his collection.
The 4-Hour Work Week at the time, yeah, I had just read it, and I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, this is the idea was that I think now looking back at what happened. Anyway, what happened? I was listening to the book or reading the book, and the idea of just working 4 hours a week was ridiculous. And come to find out, if you read the book, the guy was working almost 50 hours, 150 hours a week, and then he decided to finally have a 4-hour work week, right? And that's the thing that a lot of people get messed up on that book, is that he was working his butt off, and then he decided, okay, maybe I can scale down.
Well, he was really a jack of all trades. I mean, Timothy Ferris, I believe his name was. He talked about, he went and he was like a professional dancer at one point. Then he went to that. He did, professional tango dancer. He went that and he did, and he also competed in like some kind of like MMA event, and he was able to win basically by dehydrating his body and jumping in. That kind of stuff is kind of crazy if you think about it. The amount of like time and energy you get put into that,
Yeah.
He called himself a guinea pig, I think is what he says his name.
I mean, in the book, he's like saying, read all the rules and figure out ways around the rules. Essentially, is because he's winning on technicalities within that game, right? And so it was being able to just get the person out of the circle on that book, right? In the book, he was saying, if you're able to get the person out of the circle, that could be considered a knockout. So if it's considered a knockout, then you could potentially win an entire league or whatever they were doing. I guess it was in Taiwan. I forget where the location was. It was pretty nifty though.
I think it was Taiwan. He's spoken quite extensively about that now he has a new book, Tools for Titans, which I highly recommend. It's really interesting. He talks a lot about. He takes his own podcast and he basically takes all the interviews and he dissects it and looks at like some of the best things you can actually use.
Have not read that yet.
Yeah, it's definitely something you should check out.
Because I read the 4-Hour Body, and that was years ago. It was like when I was 25, 26, and I dropped like 30, 40 pounds, and then it works. If you follow the diet plan, it totally works. But the hardest thing is like, right? What's that?
It's a slow carb diet, right?
Yeah, slow carb diet. If you're able to stick to that, you can totally win your body fat game. But if you can't stick to it, it's kind of hard.
What kind of regimen did you have for yourself when you did that? Actually,
no, it's really I didn't work out that much. It was really just the hardest part was just sticking to the beans, the vegetables, and the meat, and that's the hardest part. Is just having the control and the mindset. So every Sunday you have to like pretty much map out your meal plan, and if you're not diligent on that Sunday and you're kind of just trying to wing it the next week, that's when you fall off, because you're not that Sunday where you're kind of either cooking meals or putting your meal plan together. If you don't do that, that's where you fall off.
So it's very regimented then. You got to plan out several days in advance.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You got to pretty much say on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, say, all right, this is what I'm going to eat for the rest of the week. And it's going to be annoying. And pretty much the only thing you're doing is eating to live. You're not like enjoying the meals. And you can enjoy the meals. I mean, there's certain ways. Tomatoes, there's only so many ways you can cook tomatoes. you know, and cook lentils and cook soup.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely different ways of losing weight. There's no really one set regimen of way these days. Seems like everything is a new fad or everything. I think my take is that like diet is really how well you feel when you do it. You're not going to commit to it unless you actually feel well when you do it.
Yeah. I just currently my thing right now is like find one exercise that I enjoy doing in the gym, and that is the one that will get me to the gym. It's kind of the idea of like just floss one tooth, and then if you floss one tooth, you're gonna floss more than one, right? And so it's the idea of just you find one thing that you can do to get you to the gym. Find the one exercise you enjoy doing, and so once you get to the gym, do that one exercise, and then you're already there. You might as well do some other exercises, right?
Are there any other exercises that you try to do? I've heard scientifically they say that like, I mean, this isn't really an exercise, but going to like sweating out everything, you increase your lifespan by like 10 years.
What is that? What exercise?
I'm just going to like sweat lodge and just sweating everything out.
Oh, sweat, like getting rid of all the toxins.
You know, the toxins in your body, especially good for your heart health. It's really, really good for your heart health. And then my dad has arthritis and he's about 70, so he's been trying that. He's been recommended trying that for the last couple of months. Really
so does he sweat and then does he go to like a cold shower and then jump back into the heat?
Correct. I mean, there's talks about it now. He's only been doing it for a few months, but he's showing that it kind of benefits his heart health and helps like speed his recovery. He recently had surgery, so right now he's just trying to recuperate. But that's just kind of how his style is.
Right.
So,
okay. Oh, I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just like, that's his regimen, jumping in and out of the hot and cold.
Right. Essentially, that's the best way to get things done. I'm really curious about your story, though. You have a very interesting one. I mean, you've worked in several different areas now, business-wise. Tell me a little bit about how you feel that you gained as far as like knowledge-wise.
From
I know our lives are a little bit different. I mean, got enough degrees to probably open my own school now. And you're kind of like an autodidactic guy.
A couple of master's degrees, a couple of bachelor's degrees, yeah.
You have a little bit of everything, yeah. But you're a fairly educated guy. I mean, talking to you.
I don't mind books. I like reading, yeah. So you're asking, like, what's it like working in different places of the world? I totally recommend going different places. I mean, because I was born in New Hampshire, raised in Georgia. Then I moved up to Maine and then lived in Thailand for a while, lived in Minnesota for a while. Now and currently in Canada. Are we talking about from like a college student perspective? Like if you're talking, like if you're in your,
I would say that your perspective is unique in the sense that like most people don't actually go through that kind of change from south to north into Canada to Thailand.
Well, the thing is funny is
they think that I'm some kind of like entrepreneurial god, So but I think your story is pretty unique to that point. I mean, you've done real estate, you've done a lot of different things.
Yeah. The idea is like being in the South is like its own country, and you don't realize that until you get out of the South, right? You realize that there's a completely different dynamic going on. I mean, it's the same country, same culture, a lot of the same culture, but there's just a different aspect of like, I guess, Southern hospitality of certain situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's a different thing once you move up north. It's don't know. It's hard to put your exactly put your finger on it, but that doesn't.
I would say the South we're not as big as the rest to do business.
It's a lot warmer. People are a lot nicer. People are willing to give you a little bit more leeway on like who you are as a person, right? Because more or less in the North, it's like if it's not doing this way, then that's the incorrect way, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
There is that sense of community here more than maybe the North. A little bit, maybe, I would say.
Yeah, community. Yeah, I guess that would be it.
I've noticed that I feel like we've integrated fairly well in the South compared to the North in a lot of ways. definitely out west, there's really nothing. I mean, there's hardly, as far as diversity, I feel like the South actually has a lot more than
You're
the West
coming out of
Coast.
Atlanta though. Yeah, that's there. That's like a nice diverse hub right there because there's a lot of people going to Atlanta.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Atlanta's becoming like a breadbasket of like innovation now with startup scene and everything.
Yeah,
The
you were
Atlanta Tech
telling me
Village.
that there's a you said a monthly tech throwdown.
Yeah, absolutely. At Atlanta Tech Village, they have a monthly Monday meeting where they are, sorry, the last Monday of every month, um, or it's at least either the last Monday every month or the first Monday every month, they do some kind of like event where one person will host and that sponsor will get like 5 minutes to talk, but then they'll also allow other people to pitch their idea and find investors in the city.
Nice.
I mean, the dynamic is kind of different, changing now. There's that West Coast mentality of VCs, but I think here, I think people are a little more practical with their ideas and stuff. Um, I feel like we don't blow through money as quickly maybe as out west, because out west you only need one great idea to kind of funnel. I'm sure VCs out west, they even invest hundreds of millions of dollars, and all they need is one big idea, right? Here, I think we're a little bit more strategic.
Out there, it's
But
something called the audacity of zero. And so it's like, no, we're not going to gain a profit. So most business models sit there and say, okay, after the third year, we're going to make a profit on X or Y or Z. And over in Silicon Valley, it's like, what do we need a profit for? Like you've got places like Twitter that's not really showing a lot of profit. You got YouTube was like, from my understanding, there was like no profit for the first 5 years. Like that's a long time with a lot of money. It's like literally becoming the world's television within a matter of 5 years, and there's still no profit. They're trying to gain a profit. That's crazy. That's the type of stuff that they're doing over in Silicon Valley. But you come over to someplace like Austin, Texas, or Atlanta, Georgia, and it's like, no. After 24 to 36 months, there needs to be some type of profitability, because we need to find bigger investors, angel or Series 1 or Series A, Series B, investments.
it can go down as quickly as a Series Double A, Series Double B. I mean, yeah, there's definitely the idea that burn rates are not very good. You shouldn't burn through all the money you have.
Yeah.
I know a lot of businesses are we're starting to see that effect now. I think Uber is a great example of that, especially with how they're functioning. Essentially, I know they just ousted their CEO recently and hired a new guy on from, I think he was from another travel site.
Isn't the advisor there Tim Horton, Tim Ferriss?
Yeah, he is actually. Tim Ferriss is an advisor over there.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I was like, just to relay onto the conversation we had previous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but it's I feel like Lyft is actually taking whatever Uber messes up and kind of going like, okay, how can we improve on what they're doing? Right?
Totally. That's what's it called? The fast follower is what they're called.
What is that?
Like a fast, like someone. So it's really hard to find like what a market is, and then someone finds a market, and someone finally says, "Oh, okay, well that's the way to go. Well, let me follow that guy, as close as possible. Even if I'm getting 1% of the market share, it's still, 1% of the market share. It's still, as long as the market share is large enough." If you could, like you said, there's things that Uber can't do or is not doing that Lyft is saying, okay, maybe I could do that. Let's play with that market.
Well, their whole idea could be based off of the fact that there's waiting for automatic cars to come into the picture.
Totally.
And play a big role in like pivoting the way they do business.
Yeah, I'm just looking at I don't know if you listen to Planet Money or not. It's basically a whole bunch of economists trying to put the world together in their own way. They were saying, you look at the music industry, and they've done there's a guy named Illmind, and he has taken all of his sounds that he makes beats off of, and he'll sell them for like $20 to $30 a pop, just every single sound that he's ever made, right? And that's become the Uber. I mean, this was like 10 years ago or something like that, and now every producer does that. And he's kind of saying it's kind of like the Uber of beat making. You kind of make your own sounds, you make your beats with your sounds, and if those instrumentals become popular, people will buy your sound package. And so that's another way to make money. It's like everyone's trying to become the Uber of everything, right? It's just the world we're coming into.
There's also the idea that can you make everything the Uber of Uber? Like, I mean,
The Uber of Uber.
Well, a lot of startups have that idea.
Well, if they're able to create
But they-
themselves a platform that people that would become advantageous to other businesses, then yeah, they could become the Uber of Uber, right? Because that's what's going on with Amazon. Amazon's saying like, this is how we do business. It's called rather than software as a service, they call it platform as a service. And so they're using their entire. It's like, hey, this is what worked for us. If you want to use it, there's a cost, but go ahead. I wonder if Uber could create a system that other businesses would enjoy, then yeah, they could totally become the Uber of Uber.
Well, this is the idea that a lot of startups just call themselves the Uber of Uber. I made a joke recently about, I think some companies are just trying to like profit on that model where it's just like, or they'll have that tagline of like the Uber of everything. The Uber of collecting dog poop, or the Uber of, or it's like the idea of you can basically fund you can actually anyone needs this service, but I think basically what Uber did was just take an existing model and implement a software program over it. If you think about it, really, infrastructure, it was just a very backwards model where taxi drivers have medallions.
Like Airbnb, and they have more places to rent around the world than say the Marriott Hotel. It's
sure
within the matter of a couple of years. It's literally taken generations to build up, like the Hilton empire.
Airbnb came with it in like less than 6 years, 7 years.
Something, yeah, something ridiculous. But just to look at that and say, they don't want to deal with anything physical. That's what you notice with like all the software companies. They're like, I don't want anything of, I want to be completely software. I don't want anything in the physical world.
Well, I guess the idea is that if you don't own the inventory or the only asset you have is the software, correct?
Right. It's like the Alibaba of
people who already have the asset. Basically, make every asset you have. You can make it essentially a money-making idea.
Yeah,
which is good. I mean, in a lot of ways. I mean, you have a house, you can sell it, rent it to people. You have a car, you can drive other people around. I mean, that's kind of what everything else is.
Yeah.
Sharing economy, as they say, right? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, they have these electric cars that will soon drive themselves, and the price of electricity will be lower than the cost of gasoline, and then they're going to be able to drive themselves. So you're going to have something that's cheaper than Uber in the near future, right? So it costs like $20 to go downtown. It might cost $7 in the near future. So it's almost like and that type of innovation causes almost like either stagnation or deflation because you have more money on hand, right? Your money.
Well, imagine what can happen in the next like 5-10 years. I mean, we're literally seeing the change in the economy based on like physical structures. No more brick and mortar stores. I mean, essentially.
I kind of want to see what's going to happen in education because if you look at a lot of things, a lot of people need. It's like, what do you really need in education? It's that community, because a lot of people do terrible with online learning, right? You give them this thing, you give them a room in their own house with like a laptop and tell them to go teach themselves. They do terrible at it, right? And it's like they go to college and they flourish. What's the real dynamic there? And it's kind of the community. This is my opinion. It's like what's really happening there, and I think if there becomes like an online learning community, I think that'll be stronger than say universities ever could be.
People learn from each other and sharing.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, like right now, like you like talking about tech stuff. I like talking about tech stuff. We can find like, I don't know, 150 other people that like to talk about tech stuff. That's a big learning community. That's a big class.
Yeah, absolutely. From my own experience in MBA school, is that a lot of what MBA school is actually just community sharing experiences and stuff.
Okay.
Or give you a case study and saying, okay, dissect this for me. Tell me what the best solution is, but like do groupthink, which I think is actually fairly effective. I think that's a lot of what business entails anyway.
Yes.
I think if you want to learn a hard skill, though, you have to go back and learn like finance or accounting. I mean, my background is in I went to MBA school, so I think I'm more comfortable with public speaking and writing than I am probably uh, some other technologies. But
right,
definitely have a general interest in businesses as a whole. I think it's very interesting.
totally.
I think the idea of community is important, but you do realize that a lot of these open-ended courses, they do have a high dropout rate, like you said. I think over like 70%, so like 80% of all like those MOOCs, those open online courses.
Massive online communities, yeah.
Yeah, massive online communities, yeah. Like, so that makes me think, though, how does this have to change then? I mean, there is that idea of like hybrid. I mean, a lot of the classes I took were like 1 week on campus and then 1 week off discussion board. 1 week on campus, 1 week off discussion board.
I like that.
Yeah, I think so. The most part, it's been effective. My professors have all been fairly happy about I think they feel like it's more productive for the student as well.
Yeah, totally.
But there are people who just love classrooms. I mean, I'm for one kind of like a traditional learner too. There's something different like about like holding a book in your hand, just having it in front of you.
Yeah, and this is totally unrelated to what we were talking about, but previously me in particular talking. He's like, "Hey, dude, you need to come to Atlanta," and I was sitting there saying, "Well, what kind of conferences are going on down there? Like, because you wanna meet people, right, in your industry or whatever." And I think the same thing with the MBA is what you were talking about. Is like having that community, kind of everyone focused in on the one thing that you're kind of focused in on as well, creates motivation. It creates competition, but not even competition, just it makes you want to do better because other people are doing it too.
I think it's really important. You usually got to talk about Marshall Bailey, and you actually had interaction with him. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Story, actually.
So that was awesome because there's a platform called blab.im, and I forget how I found out about it, but you just ended up having all of these tech entrepreneur types just jumping on the platform, and Martin Shkreli was one of them. And so I ended up having a few interactions, but me and him, his interactions were more of like, he had just bought the Wu-Tang Clan thing, or just bought the Wu-Tang Clan album. And so I was like, "Hey, so who do you think the best MC is?" Right. And he was just like, "Get the F out of here, man. I don't care about what you have to say." And I was like, "Oh," so he X'd me out. He kicked me out of his video chat room, and I was, yeah, it's too bad. I could have asked him more in-depth questions, but more or less I was trying to be like the bro and ask him like, just a softball question, maybe be a friendly, but he wasn't having it.
Well, I mean, now with his recent jail time, might be interesting to see how it comes out, how it affects him.
Yeah.
He has an entire YouTube channel dedicated to him, and he does a lot of live streaming as well from his house.
He's always done live streaming from his house. He's always playing, like he's always playing with his guitar. He's always flirting with the chicks. I think he's on this live stream platform I was on. It's like anybody that was any girl that came on that was attractive, he would definitely give a little bit more time to. So I think
if you guys aren't aware who Marshall Bailey is, he's a farmer bro, the guy who raised the price of dairy by like an obscene amount of percentage. But I mean, the idea of that, like, if you think about it, really, the cost of it comes onto not the consumer essentially, but the insurance company. And that was, like you had said, he really isn't. He was really public enemy number one from like the DA point of view. They kind of want to make an example of, like, it was like the media did.
Like I was saying before, I don't they want to use an example of him because of his attitude, I think, not because of what he did. I think if he performed his way, the way he acts in public, he's a very cocky, or I don't want to say arrogant. Maybe arrogant is probably a better word, but he just comes off with a lot of bravado for no reason, for no reason at all. And so that's why people want to make an example out of him, because he's acting the way he acts. If he was to act a little bit more like a suit, then people probably would be less. He would be less of a villain and be more of a suit. You know, like, oh yeah, one of these suits are being trying to ruin the world. What else is new, right? But since he's a little bit of a trying to be a d-bag a little bit, then that's different, you know.
Yeah, he's very self-aware who he is. I mean, he doesn't lie about exactly what he does.
I mean, yes, if you
Well,
want
I
to put
mean, if
that
you
out there, he's being more real. He's definitely being what he thinks and feels. Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
there is some respect due for that. I feel like I kind of commend him on that. He does have a really interesting finance series on YouTube. Actually, he goes through like a 9-part series. It's like a crash course, almost like a finance major in college.
So you've said that before, and I look for it. And if you could link me up to that, that'd be awesome because I would pay attention to that because the dude came out of Brooklyn and he's not of like wealth. He just kind of did it all himself, and that type of perspective would be interesting to learn.
Yeah, his story's really interesting. I mean, he went to I think it was a fairly like a gifted college, but he said he was just ready to get out, and he had gotten an internship with Jim Cramer's hedge fund. And Jim
Yeah,
Cramer, if you guys aren't familiar with, he's like the guy on
I know Jim
CNBC.
Cramer. I don't know personally, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Mad Money, the streamer guy. Yeah, the one who like breaks up clocks and stuff because he doesn't like what time it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he actually was working for him for a while. And I think that's how he started building his own portfolio for.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, yeah, I mean, he talks about it through length in his YouTube channel. So definitely something worth checking out if you haven't.
Yeah, like no, he's not really on my radar too much anymore after the whole like kicking me out of your chat room. But I mean, it's not that he doesn't have anything to like legitimate to say because he didn't want to talk about the Wu-Tang Clan. It's fine. It's cool. It's cool, Skrelly. You didn't want to talk about the Wu-Tang Clan with me, but I'll listen to what you have to say about finance. Yeah.
Always get a good perspective on that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think you should make it out to Atlanta. I think this is the next big boom for Atlanta. I mean, I definitely see this turning into a tech hub if it already isn't. I call it the Silicon Trap, but
the Silicon Trap. That's funny because it's
I'm trying to let that thing catch on, but I hope that name catches on. But I don't know if it does.
So, are you trying to tell me that in Chicago it's going to be called the Silicon Drill because drill music is in Chicago? Is that what's going to happen there?
You do that. You call it the Silicon Drill.
Call it the Silicon Drill, the Silicon Trap. Like it's like rap and.
Well, they call Dallas Silicon Prairie.
What? One more time.
They call Dallas Silicon Prairie. Actually,
did not know that. What do they call Austin? I wonder.
Yeah. I think it's still part of the same area. I mean, technically they're like 4 or 5 hours away from each other, but I think that whole area is still. It's called the
Silicon Prairie. Okay.
Prairie.
I know that what's his name? The guy that it sold out for got $1 billion from Zappos, Tony Hsieh. He's trying to invest a lot of money in northern Las Vegas, and I thought that was pretty interesting because if you go to Las Vegas, all it is the Strip, right? And so, there used to be an entire community downtown, right there. It seems that it's a very transient city because it's only tourism, right? But he's more of the idea of like, no, let's build a community here, like a tech community, and I thought that was pretty nifty.
Really? Is he from Las Vegas himself?
No, I think he's from California, but I read parts of his book, Delivering Happiness, and his thing was that he really liked gambling, or not gambling, but poker, and he kept reading books on poker and strategies on poker, and so I guess he thought, hey, this is like the mecca of poker or mecca of gambling, so let me create a community around here, right?
Interesting. Well, they definitely have better games than they do in Silicon. I mean, there's 2 casinos. I went to one last week. It was based. They had a thing called Spanish blackjack, and the idea was that they take all the tens out because that's so Spanish.
Why is that Spanish?
No, I don't understand why they call it Spanish blackjack. But I went to this casino expecting to play like craps and roulette. And the only 2 games they had were poker and blackjack. Which I mean, I'm a big fan of blackjack, but poker I'm still trying to get.
Wait, what's the number 10 in Spanish? What is that?
Diez.
Diez. So no TS. I guess I don't know.
No DS. No DS. Yeah. And there's so many side bets you can place in that blackjack game. I was this one casino. I think it's like you walk in and you're like expecting like a bunch of Silicon people. It's a lot of Asian business people. I feel like.
Yeah. Boom.
Well, this is going to be hopefully a weekly broadcast. I really did enjoy this talk with you, James. Mr. Tull.
Thanks, man. This was really cool. Totally need to like hook up, hang out, and talk about random stuff again.
Sure,
books,
absolutely.
business, weight loss, Tim Ferriss, tech companies, Atlanta, San Francisco, Las Vegas, Canada, stuff.
That's just our first episode.
Right,
so hopefully we have some more for you in the future.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone's listening to this in the next couple weeks, but look forward to talking to you again. Again, the show is called The Shui, episode 1 with P&J. My name is Pratik, and James, if you want to introduce yourself again.
Hi, my name is James Tolf again, and yeah, totally tune in, listen to our ramblings.
Awesome. Well, it was a good show. Thank you so much.